Yo, what up, my G's? Y'all know how we started off, and I'm rocking the shot glass with the Giants and the Mexican boot. Yeah, shout out to Mexico, bro. Okay. Shit. But y'all already know what it is, man. We start off with a toast. This toast is going out to my motherfucking G-men, baby. Yo, they came in and they shut it down. I dead ass thought it was gonna be a horrible loss, but we're gonna talk about that later. But it's good for them to see them actually playing. They're coaching well, they're playing well. Man, that's just a good feeling when New York teams is winning, babies. You know what I mean? Yo, shout out to them guys. What's good, fellas? The shot goes out to the G-men.
Salute. To the G-men. Salute. That shit was it's a good way to start it.
A good way to start it. I want to welcome everyone back to Drunk Sports Talk, New York's new #1 sports talk show. We are the voice of the streets. Allow me to reintroduce myself. It's your boy Cash and Easy Children. Queens is in the building. My guys had to pop out. Q, Jay, what's going on, my brothers? How y'all feeling?
Everything's good, family. You know, good to be back.
Chilling. Just another day at the office, right?
Good to be back.
Office. Great to be back. Great to be a New Yorker. Great to be a sports fan. I want to apologize, everybody. Last week's broadcast, we had some technical difficulties. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, tapping in. We got some good comments. We got a couple of subscribers. So I want to thank everybody. And please make sure you hit the like and subscribe and support. And we're trying to grow. We don't get paid for this. We do this for free. We do this out of the love for sports. And we just hope you enjoy the content. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe. With that being said, man, it's never a dull week in New York, man. You know what I mean? I don't even want to get into the Mets. Maybe we'll talk about the Mets after. But the Mets, they doing their thing. They won tonight, so they balling out. I think it's 2-1, right?
2-1.
Yeah, we're staying in Citi Field.
Hot as fire.
Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Both of y'all killed it. Like, yo, I'm looking at it now. I'm like, damn, I miss home.
Word. Yeah, man. Knicks. We had a preseason. We're gonna talk about the preseason Knicks game. They looked impressive, although it is preseason, but they definitely looked impressive. We got a kind of a sneak peek, a glimpse of what the Knicks might look like this year under Tibbs and with Cat and Mikal Bridges and all the new guys. Giants, let me tell you something, man. What a fucking phenomenal, suspenseful, exciting game was the Giants game. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, the great play calling by Daniel Jones, resurrecting for one week, so to speak. Tyrone Tracy, the rookie, just so many different good things to touch on. Pause when we talk about the Giants this week. But we got to set it off, man. And this shit is crazy because, we got to set it off with the Jets, the New York Jets. When we did pre-production, right, when we had a little pre-production meeting trying to figure out what topics we're going to talk about and everything, it was basically just, the terrible loss for the Jets and what are their deficiencies, what do they need to work on, Aaron Rodgers, the offensive line, the usual shit we always talk about. And then today we had to call audible at the line of scrimmage at the last minute. Right? You know what I'm saying? Right?
That's facts, though.
It's some big news that came out. Robert Saleh, right? Robert Saleh gets clipped. Listen, it's not like this was a surprise. What's surprising to me is it was done in season. So many things to unpack, man. Let's just get into it. Listen, the Jets fired Robert Saleh after a 2-3 disappointing start. He basically had an overall bad record as a head coach. Listen, Saleh's a really good defensive mind. He's a little bit inept on offense. Doesn't really know the offense as well, but he's a really good defensive mind. We saw what he built here with the Jets, him and Obridge. We saw what he did in San Francisco, with the 49ers in San Francisco.
And their defense.
Their defense, stout, very good stout defense. So we know he's a good defensive mind. But his firing, I have mixed feelings about it, man. It feels early. It feels... it's a mid-season, in-season firing is very rare, man. There was a lot of expectations for this team because they're stacked on both sides of the ball, even special teams. Like I said, the defense is playing very well. Offense sputtering a little bit. But let's keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers still fresh off the Achilles. Let's not get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? He's only 3 or 4 games in. Him and the offense don't look in sync. Garrett Wilson, the run game, the pass game, not looking in sync. But like I said, it's still early. What I will blame Saleh for, because, listen, if you want to argue this, he was giving Zach Wilson for a couple of years, right? He was given a bad offensive line and a less than desirable OC in Nathaniel Hackett, and a diva quarterback who basically they handed the keys to the team and said, this is your team, and basically you're in control. You know what I'm saying? So Aaron Rodgers basically runs that team. So Saleh had his hands cuffed a little bit, but an in-season firing guys is weird because you don't see that, because most of the time you're looking for a big name, right? Big name coaches are not coming in the middle of the season and taking over a team, man. And they won't be able to install their packages and their offensive, right? They don't have a full training camp, can't get their OCs, DCs, and offensive line coaches and receiver coaches. They bring their whole staff in this. So it's very rare you see a big name coach come in. And with the Jets 2 and 3, yes, the offense is sputtering. Yes, they don't look good. Yes, there's penalties. Yes, the OC is not calling plays, lack of creativity. Aaron Rodgers looks like age and attrition is kicking in a little bit, although I do think he'll figure it out. With all that being said, you don't see that, but there's a lot of things to unpack, a lot of layers to unpack here. I want to play a clip before I toss it over to you guys because there's so much we got to talk about. But I want to play a clip from Evan Roberts and Tiki Barber today on WFAN. They really break it down, and then we'll get you guys' thoughts on it. Ready? Here we go.
But with that being said, it still feels like a rash, emotional move and not one based on anything football related. And should Robert Saleh be fired if their season goes the way? Sure, of course. Ultimately, it's a performance-based business. You have to figure out how to win football games, and Robert Saleh hasn't won enough of them. But at this point in this season, it feels so disruptive to fire your coach this early and really don't have a reason for it.
Well, there are 3 possibilities on why right now, before the Jets play a game for first place in the AFC East, that Woody Johnson made this decision. 3 of them. Number 1, they're 2 and 3 and he's frustrated and he sucks and the team's undisciplined and they're a mess.
Not meeting the expectation.
Okay, that's option number 1. Option number 2, Woody Johnson used to work in the United Kingdom. He used to be the ambassador in the United Kingdom. And Woody Johnson was sitting there with his British friends and was embarrassed by the product on the field. That's option number 2. Option number 3 may be breaking news to a lot of people listening. And I understand if it is, but to some, you may have heard this already. On Sunday, Robert Saleh wore a Jet sweatshirt. On said sweatshirt was a Lebanese flag. Robert Saleh is Lebanese, or at least his parents are Lebanese.
Yes.
And this is something the NFL has done over the last few years, where they allow coaches and players to wear the country of a flag of where they're from, or where their parents are from, or where their heritage is. So Robert Saleh wore a Lebanese flag. Based on what's going on in the world, based on the anniversary of that horrible day a year ago, October 7th, there were some, maybe many, who were offended by that flag being worn. And they took it, right or wrong, as a political message. It is possible, and Woody's got to answer that question.
Right, somebody's got to ask him.
So, listen, I don't like to get into politics a lot of the times. This is a sports-based show, and politics alienates people every time we talk about politics, but we do have a responsibility to talk about this. Q, I want to go to you, but keep in mind the run game, terrible, offensive line, terrible, and pass block and run block. Aaron Rodgers not on point with his receivers. The defense played very well. Defense kept them in that game, but the Jets are, with that payroll and with that talent on both sides of the ball, something had to be done. Q, I'm going to go to you first. What's your thoughts on Robert Saleh getting fired? And what's your thoughts on the clip we just heard?
I think it's a lot to intake, right? And I just want to, I would just hope that the NFL didn't look at the fact of what type of flag he was wearing. That would just be disgraceful, in my opinion. 2, I saw this happening. I just didn't see it happening this early. This was premature, but in my opinion, I feel like they're just making irrational decisions, just kind of like sometimes teams that are doing and performing way less to the expectation of what you need them to do. When you have bad ownership and people who don't really understand what they're doing in the front office. Well, they could be knowing what they're doing, but they're just not executing it well. Like, look at the Hassan Reddick, like they dropped the ball on that. Yeah. They've done good things, but they've done bad. Now firing him right here, granted, he probably lost the locker room. They all probably like, what the hell's going on? The rush defense is ranked 14 in the league, and they probably have one of the best front seven, and they have, they're ranked second in passing, which they should be with Gardner and Reed and them guys out there. But they're still not winning games, and they have to understand that, like you have Aaron Rodgers, he's looking like he's the boss of that team. I think he just I think they started seeing it. There was way too many hints. We don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. Look what happened with the Giants with the whole Wink Martindale. Like the rumors start trickling. We've seen Aaron Rodgers and Rob Saleh go tit for tat on the media and, just verb like with their eyes and looks,
the
and
hug, the infamous hug,
a lot of that plays into the part. Like, what's going on? You guys are going hard already. You guys already don't like each other. Like, that's your head coach, man. Like, granted, how good of a quarterback you are, you still need to follow orders and up until that nature. But when you feel like you're up and above and you feel like the whole team is on your back and you're the one who thinks that it needs to ride with them, and I'm the one that could put this team on my back, fuck whoever else anybody says. That's not what ownership wants to see. And he was definitely losing it. Lord knows what could have happened if this team would have lost the next 2-3 games. Like, that shit would be fuming, because now what's going to happen? The players are start going to probably turning on everybody. They're going to be like, what the fuck is Aaron Rodgers here for? Who knows? Like, oh, it's going to be like Any Given Sunday. Yo, it's the defense. And, It's going to be like Willie Beeman. And then, Like, it's going to be like, hello, Cool J punching Willie Beeman in the face. And that's what they don't want to happen. I do think it was premature. I hope it had nothing to do with the flag. But look, it's not like it was a secret. Like, they weren't playing great football. They were not. Like, we all, as a New York fan, you're always gonna wish the best for any team. Hey, look, I went into this league in this season thinking that the Giants were gonna win at least 10 games, and hopefully at least 9. That'll be great. I went, and me not being a super Jet fan, but I'm New York. I went into this season thinking that the Jets are going to be like, holy shit, they're going to fucking annihilate the AFC East. Like, it's not even going to be a competition. And they're still trying to figure it out in week 5. And that's not exactly what you hope for in this type of team that looks like this on paper. Because like I've said in previous episodes and in the past, these guys don't have multiple years. Their contracts are going to expire. They're going to need to find new guys to replace these guys. These guys are going to get run down and beat the fuck up week in and week out playing this tough ass sport. And that's what's going to happen. And when you start losing, just creates a mentality. And, I just, it's sorry to say, I didn't think he was the right coach for this team anyway, but I do think it was, a very premature decision. And I just, like, what are they going to do now? Like, now are you just setting yourself up for more failure? Because now there's a lot more questions, a lot more issues that you're going to have to resolve now at this point, now that you don't have a head coach at all. Now who's going to step in there? Now who's going to step in there and be so-called the head coach, even though they're not now, and give everybody these orders, and have people listen to him? It's kind of just going to be like, all right, well, fuck it, I want to do it, but hopefully it works.
They brought in Ulbrich. I mean, Ulbrich gets
he's there, the interim tag.
Interim from the defensive, deep from the DC. Ulbrich, he's hot around the league. His name has been circulating around the league for potential head coaching jobs, kind of like Dan Quinn left Dallas, went to the Redskins. He's that up and coming Spagnuolo, hot DC. They're all ill. Romeo Crennel, these guys off the Belichick tree, they're all ill until they're not. But he's the hot name around the league. So I'm not surprised they bumped him up to interim coach. But here's my thing, Preem, before I turn it over to you. Jay, before I turn it over to you. Ulbrich is a defensive guy the same way Saleh is a defensive guy, right? From when I'm looking at the situation, Hackett in the offense seems to be the issue, right? And a couple of things I said Aaron Rodgers is they said Aaron Rodgers is the second most powerful guy behind Woody Johnson in that whole locker room. I mean, in that whole organization. And you know what? To be honest with you, he should be. He's the only guy who's won over there. Jets haven't made the playoffs in 13 years and haven't won since '69 or whatever the fuck it is. The Joe Namath shit. What are you gonna do if you're Ulbrich or even Saleh? Are you gonna walk down the hall to the OC's room and say, "Listen, I don't think your offense is running right. I don't, the offensive line is the run block is not right. That's why Brees not getting off. That's why Breland is not getting off. We can't get on page with the receivers. They're not running the right routes, but they're just not connecting for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Garrett Wilson, for some strange reason, every time he catches the ball, he drops it and falls to the floor. This shit is weird as fuck. But they don't have the cachet to go over there and tell Aaron Rodgers, and Nate is essentially an extension of Aaron, right? You know what I'm saying? Because Aaron's really running the team. Do they have the cachet to go over there and saying you're not doing this right? Nor do they have the cachet like Brian Dable took the play calling away from Kafka last year, right? And said, or this year, and said, I'm gonna be calling the plays. Brian Dable's an offensive guy. You seen what he did in Buffalo, right? So I don't understand how that's going to work. It's not like Obridge could just take over the offense, store his own packages, and take away the play calling duties. Even though I heard that Saleh, before he got fired today, did take away the play calling duties from Nate Hackett, but too little, too late. But Preem, when you hear that, what is your take on this whole situation? You're the resident Jets guy here. Unpack this for me.
There's a lot, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a story, right? The reason why I'm dressed like this is because this is what happened this morning. Woody got up and he threw this exact outfit on, and he said, "I'm going to do this shit myself. I'm not going to delegate. I'm going to go and I'm going to murder this motherfucker myself." Right?
I love it.
He got embarrassed in fucking London. You don't embarrass me in fucking London. They're off to a horrible start. I have a quarterback who's a little bit mercurial. I get it. But at the same time, he's the guy that we went out and got. Veteran Hall of Famer. Robert Saleh shows up to the complex. He sits down in his chair, and all you see is a hand come in, cover his mouth. And he put Saleh the fuck out. And then security dragged his lifeless body the fuck up out of the goddamn compound. That's the way it happened this morning. That's the story. That's why I'm wearing this, in honor of what needed to be done. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I like Saleh on the way in. I absolutely did. Yeah. But see, here's the thing, right? As a fan, my job isn't to like these motherfuckers, right? My job is to fucking get behind them in a fanatical way and watch them uplift and create a moment for me. Before I go, I'd like to see this team fucking hoist the Lombardi, right? You know what I mean? Like, I need that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't, not the Lombardi, the Lombardi, right? Lombardi, right? I'd like to see them hoist the fucking trophy, bro. Like, that's what needs to happen. So we'll start there, right? There was a murder this morning. They snuffed him out early. He looked like I look right now. He was set up and ready to go. Woody, and think about this shit. Like you said, they haven't done mid-season or in-season firings ever. They let Gase make it to the end, right? They got rid of Gase at the end. So think about it through that lens, right? Woody got up and said, nah, champ. We're not going to do this shit. Yeah. And then he, and I'll be the first one to tell you, the only person that probably could have saved Saleh would have been the mercurial quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Indeed.
But he did not. Because don't think for 1 second that Woody didn't let it be known that this was going to happen, right?
Of course.
Now, just picking up where you left off, you're going defensive fucking mind for defensive mind. Where are we really going there, right? The defense, I think, is going to do what they're going to do. And, and I think they'll get better as time goes on. Yeah. But I think they're spending a lot of time on the football field.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like 3 and out.
Right. Yeah. It's 3 and out.
Yeah.
Think about how this London game started. I was all set up, too. I'll be honest with you. I wake up in the fucking morning. It's Sunday morning. I said, yo, this is it. I had a shot at fucking early in the morning, right, to get it going on a Sunday, on the Lord's Day, right?
Facts. You said that too in the chat. Yep, you said that in the chat.
Ready to go, hyped up, right? Got 4 or 5 women running around this place in their underwear making me fucking breakfast. It was a beautiful fucking day, right? No, I'm joking. I'm just joking.
I love it. I live vicariously through you, my brother.
Yeah, people at home, that was a lie. I'm talking shit. I'm just, That was happening before I woke up. Then I woke up, I got my own shot, and drug my monkey ass back into the bedroom, right? But the long and the short of it is, it was a very, very, very disenchanting, disappointing loss. Yeah. The score was not indicative of what I saw as far as the product on the field, right? Mm-hmm. It was just a really, really, really poor product. And to be honest, the Jets should be fucking feeling lucky that the Vikings didn't bring their game to London with them. Yeah. Because if they would have showed up with any of the shit that they were doing on our soil, this shit would have been an absolute annihilation. Robert Saleh might have got murdered on the plane. Like that might have been Woody might have said, "Joe, I got him. On the airplane," right? It might have happened there. So with that being said, there's a lot of things that need to happen. One, I think the Jets need to make a move immediately for Devontae and Bill Belichick. There's my take of the year. Go get Bill.
Yeah.
Bill is ready, and Bill is a defensive, offensive mind. He got both. He's more notable for the defense, but Bill knows how to run a team, and Bill knows how to create a culture, and Bill can do it fast because he's got the cachet to do it. Bill will come in there with those rings on his hand and be like, "Guys, listen, you know how Bill does. Listen, we're on to the next game. He don't fucking talk, right?" But I think that's the move that needs to be made. I know that Bill's not even. That's not going to happen. However, Devontae, I believe, is still something that can happen.
I fully expect it to happen. Actually,
1,000%, 1,000%.
I think they need it because look, Garrett Wilson had a great game. Lazard caught 2 touchdown passes, but he also dropped 3 very important passes. Like, come on, man! You're supposed to be the guy who came in with all the the camaraderie with this guy, the connection, and you just dropping these easy. He's just putting it right there. Like, you can see Aaron Rodgers, he's just fucking frustrated. At this point, if Woody would have called him, he would have been like, "I don't even give a fuck who you get rid of, bro. There's a couple other people. There's a couple other people we can get rid of in this bitch too, right? Like,
everybody can go. Everybody, that type of thing. But even deeper than that, Q, think about this, right? Aaron was off himself, right? Aaron had some pretty questionable throws also, right? He went front shoulder instead of back shoulder on that last play, right? That's very clear. He overthrew. I want to say, who was that in the middle? He overthrew and got picked off. I don't think that was Lazard. I think that was Mike Williams actually.
You talking about the last play of the game?
The last play of the game was Mike Williams. He went front shoulder instead of back, right? So that created that moment. But there was the second one
that pass before that too, which was crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot that that took place, and I really feel like,
sorry, my bad, Gary.
No, there's a part of me that looked at it, and I just kind of saw Aaron just. I don't want to say he gave up or anything like that, but he just did not look as engaged as I've seen Aaron look in a moment like that. Like there was a lot of his body language. And again, he got banged up a lot. They fucked him up, right? But a lot of it, you ever see a person's body language and you just start to see that they're just fading, like like their energy is former. And I think that's what I saw.
He got sacked 3 times. Joe Simpson gave up a sack. Tyron Smith supposedly, the left tackle we brought in there to really keep him upright. Elijah Vera Tucker hasn't been playing as well he has last year. He gave up a sack. Olu Fashanu got beat up again. Olu Fashanu, he's a rookie. He has a little bit of excuse, but he gave up 4 pressures, 3 hurries. The offensive line let him down, and it was evident not only in the pass protection, but it was evident with the run shit as well. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't run the fucking ball, dude. If you can't run the ball, help me make this make sense. If you can't run the ball, right? Breece Hall, who is this guy? This guy's looking like Devin Singletary out here. Yeah. He's supposed to be the next fucking, name up Emmitt Smith or whoever the fuck you want to name. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They can't run the fucking ball. They're getting less than 10 yards per game. Crazy shit. But that they're not opening them gaps. Guys are they're not creating holes. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to shoot through those gaps.
They're not doing it often enough either.
Right.
You got a 40-year quarterback throwing the ball 54 times.
50. Like that's exactly. And now that's a lot. Exactly. And to your point, when your run game ain't going, play action is not fooling nobody. It takes the play action away, right? So, and then I just want to put out another stat because I found this shit interesting. Let me see what it is. You mentioned Aaron Rodgers last game. I look at his Pro Football Focus. I'm enamored with this shit. Passes 20 yards, 20 yards. Okay, so a pass. This is a pass. Deep passing considered 20 plus yards, right? 20 or more yards. Aaron was 8 for 20 on that. Terrible downfield, right? Passes 10 to 19 yards, 12 for 31, right? And short passes, which are 0 to 9 yards, he was 65 for 88. What does that tell you? That tells you that's all what? Short yardage shit, all underneath shit, right, Preem? Right, Q? I mean, right, Jay? Right, Q? That tells you he has to hurry up. He's dinking and dunking. He's throwing screens because that pressure is coming. He doesn't have time to sit there, go through his progressions, go through his reads. So there's a lot of shit going on. That offensive line has to step. Joe Douglas. We thought we had it figured out this year with the offensive line, right? I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? Morgan Moses, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Think about this, Cash. It's funny you bring that up, right? Because I was looking at that earlier, and I saw that even though Aaron Rodgers, the reason why, let me do it this way: Aaron Rodgers is number 2 as far as the quickness of him getting the football off, and it's not because he's just special, which he is. It's because his ass is under duress.
He's under duress. And he's taking major hits, like you just said. He's taking major hits, bro. And he's 40 years old. We talked about last week, attrition. Dude, me and you are in our 40s, right? You know what I'm saying? One bad hit, we out there in the turkey ball on Thanksgiving. You catch a bad hit, you fucked up for the next 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
I might fuck around, you know what I'm saying? Baby, go get my gun. Like, what the fuck you hit me like this for? You know what I'm saying?
But it's yo, man, they got to do better, man. And another thing, man, before we punt or whatever, is Kevin O'Connell, man, running circles around Obrich last week, man. They got him in every facet of the fucking game, man. Kevin O'Connell, man, listen, he's really good at moving players around.
I like him.
He's fucking amazing. He's really good at moving players around, getting the matchups he wants, putting guys in motion, disguising plays. He had Obrich thinking the whole game. Sauce, you got to be better, bro. Justin Jefferson, we know he's the dude, but he was doing what he wanted to do. You feel what I'm saying?
Think about how many offensive pass interferences there were. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but think about how many OPIs there were.
You're right. Yeah.
It was one time at one point, literally, I think it was 3 straight. I said, how is this even possible?
Yeah. Yeah.
3 straight OPIs.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Who are we playing against? The Bayside Raiders? What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, and this is the second, and this is they're rated the second best offensive game. Now, was it the time? I don't know. You could just see everything, the disconnect, like Garrett Wilson making the double move. Did he do it too late? Because that's a quick touchdown. That's Aaron Rodgers type of play. Like, it was out there. Like, Garrett Wilson already broke that dude's ankles. I think it was Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
And he was out. And the ball was a little bit overthrown, but I think was there some type of disconnect? Did Aaron Rodgers not know that he was even going to do a double take? That's why he threw it that far. Like, these are things that they got to work out internally, because from what we're seeing, regardless if it's underthrown, they're just not in sync. Like, they're just going out there and think like they're just winging it. yo, XYZ 1 2 3 hype.
And Q, I said this last week, right? Like, this is really their first season, even though it's their second.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but the problem with that is me as a fanatic, as a fan, right? The fan means fanatic. Me as a fanatic, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, dog. Put a product on the field that I can enjoy, and this ain't it.
Well, as you can see, Woody don't care about that shit either. Woody don't care about it either, and it just goes to show, like, regardless if it's your first full season together, you got to do better than this, man. Like, this is why you guys are practicing. This is why you guys are knowing the plays that you're running. You're supposed to know the count of when you're supposed to dip off and change your route and how fast I'm supposed to throw it. Like, what they say, they gave a wild statistic during the game. It was like, I think 75% of the passes that Aaron Rodgers threw were less than 2.5 seconds. That is wild.
Yeah. And he was what Jay was saying. Yeah.
And he was mad accurate too. And they said, like, yo, he has the highest percentage too this season of him completing those passes. But damn, it's hard to complete those passes because now those are going to be short yardage passes, like you guys were saying. And now you got to hope those yards after the catch are going to be something substantial, because if I'm 3rd and 13 and you only catch it within 4 yards and you got another, you got another 9 to go, 8 to go. And if they're ready for you, you ain't getting that first down. Now you're 4th.
Well, everybody's in. They're all in. Like there's no, that box is stacked as you saw. You're looking at the whole fucking team. They even had one of the girls that fucking give the oxygen in the fucking in the front. She cackled a motherfucker at one point. I said, how the fuck did she get on the field? She's out there in street clothes, tackle a motherfucker. They brought the whole team out to the front, in the box to shut down the run play and to make it rough on Aaron. But yeah, you're right. That's
And just before we get out of here, just to go back to the O-line, because we know the offensive line is so important, especially for old quarterback. Think back to the Denver game. What was like 4th and goal? William Adams can't punch the ball in. You know what I'm saying? Like come on, you got to be better than that. They got to be better. But real quick, Aaron Rodgers 60.5 completion percentage versus the blitz. That's 20th in the NFL. Coming into this game, the fucking Vikings were in takeaways 10th. They had 10 takeaways this year. They were ranked 2nd. Blitz rate 41.3. They were 2nd in the NFL. Pressure rate, they were 8th, and sacks, they were 1st. You listen. Brian Flores
he's sending them.
Hackett was no match for Brian Flores, right? He was schooling him. You know what I'm saying? Hackett, we got to get rid of it. Hackett should have been. Why didn't Hackett see the door with Saleh? They both, come on, it's just crazy, bro.
It should have went hand
in
hand.
We know the answer to that, right?
Yeah, we know why. We all know.
Come on, again, it's the mercurial quarterback, right? This guy, he has the ability, to kind of. He's the puppet master.
And shout out to my boy L. He hit me today. He was like, "Yo," he read something like the tight ends aren't blocking as well either. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's got to be a group effort. But listen, with that being said, all in all, Buffalo has somewhat come back down to earth. They're 3-2. Jets are 2-3. I think Jets going to Buffalo next week, right? Are we going to Buffalo or they come here?
No, we go, and I think we go, and then that's Monday. That's a
Monday night game.
That's a Monday night game.
Buffalo, they're right back in first place.
It's true.
So, why was really solidified in season? That makes you go back to the whole Lebanese thing, which I don't want to really get into, but.
You see, I ducked that. I didn't want to get into
it. Like my man Jay said, y'all niggas do the dishes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let's just leave it at that.
Leave it at that, you know what I'm saying? But let's get to a positive note.
Let's flip. I knew he was gonna say let's flip the coin, right?
Coin, man. Let's flip the coin. And man, if you had asked me during before the season, we did the season previews with Jake Asman and Bobby Skinner. Both big time YouTube guys in their respective teams, the Jets and the Giants. We did a full full once over. And if you had told me that the Giants would be looking better than the Jets, I would have told you you're fucking crazy. And they haven't looked that great up until this game against the Seahawks. But if you really want to unpack this, what are the Giants? 2 and what?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Really quiet as kept could be 4-1. With a couple of plays that go this way, that way. Malik Neighbors don't drop those 2, 4th down joints. They run the ball a little bit.
No, I'm not mad at that. Yeah,
it could be 4-1, right? And we're talking about a whole different type of Giant season. But let me start by saying this about the Giants. That was some gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? That was some gangster ass shit that they pulled off. That special teams pulled off, man. I was like, yo, I want to play a clip before we get into it because there's so much to unpack with the fucking Giants. But that fucking Isaiah Simmons jumping the fucking center and blocking that punt and Bryce Ford Wheaton picking that up and going to left for the court.
Hundo.
Yo, I'm gonna play this clip from Dable and then we're gonna come back and build on it. Hold up.
What did you see that made you think that play would work here and against this team?
Yeah, well, I mean, you put a lot of trust in your assistants. So Gobi thought it would be a good, he showed me a few clips and we held it too. We were, I kept asking for it during the game. I thought, we probably had a chance at it. And Gobi's like, I just want to set it up one more. And look, there's risk reward to it because if you get a penalty, then it's a first down for the offense. But I thought Gobi did a great job of just setting up the rush, called it at the perfect time, and then, Isaiah's over there before the play practicing get-offs and what he's doing. So he was prepared to go. We had Dexter in there. Well-executed play at a critical situation.
Did you guys notice that Tom...
Listen, he's referring to when he says Gobi, he's referring to the special teams coach, Michael Gabriel. But Listen, Daniel James starts the game off with a fumble, and Andrew Thomas jumps on that bitch like it's a live grenade. This shit was crazy. And I'm thinking to myself,
I was like, here we go.
I mean, Jay had texted us. My bad. Jay had texted us a picture after the Jets were losing of a shot. It was like, this is my fucking Sunday. You feel what I'm saying? I'm already over it. And I said, yo, that's how I felt. I'm like, yo, we really gonna do this? He jumps on it like a live grenade. But then after that, man, Daniel Jones was in his bag, man. They getting fucking big chunks of yardage on first down, big chunks of yardage on first down, setting them up for short third and third and threes, third and fours, setting them up for short third down conversions, which we normally don't do. They're milking time off the clock. I think they took like 10 plus minutes off the clock. They're keeping the defense off the field, keeping them fresh, and the defensive ball, a whole bunch of sacks. We'll talk about that in a second, but they drive down the field. Third down after third down, and I'm like, wow, Daniel Jones is accurate. He's throwing a lot of underneath shit, a lot of little out routes, a lot of little, fucking comeback and curls, but he screens, he's checking down, he's cooking, right? He's cooking. And then they get into the red zone, right? And this is where the emotions of a fan fuck you up. You know what I'm saying?
Always,
this is
always.
You know what I'm saying?
I know where you're about to go. Go for it.
Okay, so picture this. After the fumble, I'm down and I'm like, I'm disgruntled. I'm like, this is the same old Giants. And then he starts cooking and I'm high again. I'm back. So I'm going from low and I'm going back up the roller coaster, right? And I'm at the crescendo now, right? And I'm like, yo, Daniel Jones is cooking. I'm like, yeah, I got my Daniel Jones shit on my hype, right? And then they get down into the fucking red zone, right? And what is it, like 4th and goal or some shit? I can't remember what it was, but something like that. Snap the ball. Eric Gray tries to hop over the line, right? Fumbles. But when you look back at it, it really wasn't a fumble. He actually broke the plane.
He was down. Yeah.
No, he broke the plane.
I think he was down before he even broke the plane, in my opinion.
Nah, he wasn't. When he jumped up, he put the ball out. He broke the plane. They didn't come back and do a replay. They even acknowledged this shit. He actually supposed to be a Giant score. Okay, whatever. He fumbles the ball. What's the name? Rashawn Jenkins grabs the ball, runs like 99 yards, and scores. And I'm like, yo,
here we go.
Fucking with them niggas' emotions right now. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But then this is the beautiful thing about the NFL, man. Then Daniel Jones starts cooking again. Great on first down.
He didn't stop not cooking. He was the chef that
cooked the whole game downfield a little bit.
Yeah, a really good game.
Listen, I don't want to be too long, but give the Giants credit. Dable coached a very good game. I know you have problems with Dable's play calling, but you even admitted to me on the text he called a really good game. Like I said, I thought they were well coached. I thought Daniel Jones played extremely well, accurate with the deep ball, which I was amazing. Without Slayton, without Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy, no longer third down fucking back, no longer a pass catching back. Was getting snaps, getting comfortable, getting in the rhythm, making people miss. Tyrone Tracy looked phenomenal. Slayton looked phenomenal in the absence of Malik Neighbors. And one thing I want to say before I hand it over to you. One thing, I thought Slayton looked so good on that deep ball and that being in chemistry with Daniel Jones, because I feel like they were trying to please Malik Neighbors because he's such a dynamic guy. I think they were forcing the ball into him to keep him engaged, to keep him happy, not letting him get disgruntled. They didn't want an Odell type of situation, which is cool, but it looked like it flowed a little bit more. It looked like Daniel wasn't forced to, get that ball into tight spots with Malik Neighbors. But they play phenomenal, man. I want to get into the stats, but I'll go to you first this time. Jay, you watching the Giants game, you're more of a Jets guy, but you do root for, you're still loyal to the soil, as Q likes to say. What was your thoughts on that game, man?
You know what's crazy, right? I was just sitting here and I was listening to you, and you took everything, right? Like you left me nothing.
My bad.
You took the whole plate.
I saw the thunder.
You took the whole plate. But what I can say is this, right? Watching that, it's weird to watch it and see that Dable actually did what Saleh should have done. He just said, you know what? I'm going to stay to what I know is accurate, right? He doesn't have the best quarterback in Daniel Jones, but now we got to figure out a way to accentuate it, because I know I'm on the hot seat. I know that this is not, kind of like going in the direction that I want. And the thing that you said about Neighbors is really, really a sharp astute assessment, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want another Odell Beckham type of a situation. I said that to somebody the other day. I'm forgetting who I was talking to, but you don't want this kid to think that he is the Giants. Mm-hmm. You kind of, he's still a fucking rookie at the end of the day. We'll get you the ball, but this is not your football team. Right. You know what I mean? Not yet. It may end up being that at the end of the year or what have you, but we still got a great wide receiver in Slayton. We still got to make sure, we're doing all the right things as far as, like making sure that Daniel Jones is not, and you see this a lot with, and maybe this is what happened in Buffalo, where you had what do you call it? Trying too hard to get to Stephon Diggs. You know what I mean? And that's why Diggs is in Houston right now.
Right.
I'm not saying that this is that elevated, but it could become that, especially with a rookie and a guy like Daniel Jones, who hasn't had the best success. And now, you got him, forcing the football and turning the football over. Overall, when I look at this, I was so jealous of you guys because and my game was at 9:00 in the fucking morning. So I had to go through the day. So I was like, all right, and I was excited, just to see that, at least we got some New York, excitement. And I think that realistically speaking, I think this will carry you. You got the Bengals next week, which the Bengals are 1-4.
I like my chances. Even though Burrow cooked, I like my chances. Yeah,
I more than like your chances. You know what I mean? Like because when you look at it through the lens that Joe Burrow, for whatever reason, doesn't really look like Joe Burrow. That defense, you can do pretty much whatever you want to that defense, is what it looks like. They're in games, but they're not in games. Like like this game, they were and I don't want to talk too much about the Bengals, but that is your next opponent. If you look at it, you have T. Higgins and you have Jamar Chase. They had a pretty significant game as far as Jamar Chase had a fucking game, right? Whatever 170 some odd yards or whatever.
Yeah, he balled out.
Right, he balled out, right? But at the same time, I don't think that he could have that type of success against the Giants. I just don't see it. I don't think that, coming into that game, I think that realistically speaking, the Giants have a really, really significant chance to win that football game. I believe that they will win that football game. Yeah. And that kind of should springboard the rest of the season. Yeah. I don't think Daniel Jones is as bad as we've given him a rap for. I think it's just he's under a scrutiny that I don't think, that he should have really been under. I don't think he should have been picked at the position that he got picked at. So that put the scrutiny on him. Yeah. But that's kind of like what I have there. But I think the Giants absolutely are gonna change the trajectory of their season faster than the Jets do. Indeed. That's between you and me.
Yeah.
And the rest of the people that are watching this shit.
Q. Give me some bars, my brother.
I'm gonna tell you. You gave a story. I'm gonna tell you a story about Sunday morning, right?
Here we go.
And this is how
Cream had a real story.
No, it's not as good as his, but this is based upon me and what I did and what I was saying at the time of the Giants and the Jets game. So I go to my boy's crib and I was watching the whole Jet game in my crib. I'm like, you know what? We go finish watching the games over there. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch all the 1 o'clocks. I'm like, I'm gonna come before the Giants game finished. I ended up staying there chilling, drinking. You know how you do. I ended up watching the whole Giant game. It was a good day. But I'm watching the game in the living room, watching the Jets, and I'm like, wow, they're really fucking up. They're screwing us up right now. Like, what the hell? I'm seeing all the disconnects, taking my notes down. I'm like, wow, man. And then, my homegirl, she's a super Jet fan. I'm like, yo, I feel your pain. But I'm like, yo, at the end of the game, I'm like, yo, y'all only lost by 6. And I'm like, I'm going to go watch the 1 o'clock games. I got to wait till 4:30. But I'm like, it's all right. The Giants are about to lose by way more than 6. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Y'all was in the game.
Because Seattle's been cooking up until the Detroit game. Seattle was cooking. Yeah.
All right. So, and one of the biggest key factors from this game is that we outthrew. Not even out. We obviously outrushed them. We had over total yards. We had 90 more than them. But we outthrew them, even though little as 15 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
But Geno Smith, as sleeper as it may sound, he's leading the league in passing yards.
Yeah.
So we're going into the Houses team. We've never performed well in Seattle. So now we're there. Now we got to face these guys who normally beat us with a coach that looks very inconsistent, with a quarterback that has been playing. Daniel Jones has been picking it up. I think Dable is still understanding his role as all the type of decisions he needs to make within play callings and everything else.
Dable's a good coach, though.
Dable's a great coach. I was knocking him only because, being the offensive minded coach that he is, like when you see your rushing game is not working, stop running the ball. Like if Singletary got 24 yards on the ground, all right, I know you're hoping for that hole and for him to realize it. But what I told you when we got Devin Singletary, I didn't have no faith in Devin Singletary, but it was worth the dollar amount.
Hold on, Q. Keep your thought. I want to build that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interject. Me and him, we're gonna split the difference on that. We're gonna split the difference on that because I'm gonna tell you why. Because you definitely was. I don't want to say you're right on Singletary, but you were kind of right? But I was right on Tyrone Tracy. 100%. You know what I'm saying? I think we split the difference. Tyrone Tracy, I think he's got to be a back from now. You got to give him a shot. Go ahead.
I agree, and that's why I let you take that one because I knew it was eventually coming. Because but you
weren't wrong though. You weren't wrong.
When Cash showed me the footage, I was like, I don't like Eric Gray's Eric Gray.
Yeah,
we lost Saquon. We got Devin Singletary. I'm like, he's just whatever. Like he's not that major playmaker. For us to have Tyrone Tracy and the footage that we showed.
Break his arm.
18 attempts and 130 yards. Like
it makes people miss. That's the
he reads it so quick. It's just and to have two players like that, like a Malik Neighbors, obviously, which we know didn't play, and then a Tyrone Tracy. If we can have that, and if Darius Slayton can just pick it up, if we can get Theo Johnson involved somehow, I think we're gonna be
underneath.
Wandell in the slot. Oh, we're gonna and Daniel Jones can just play how Daniel Jones has been playing. We could get the gears in motion. Let's start right now. All right. So the Giants and the biggest, the second biggest thing aside from them just calling great plays and moving the ball because we got to the red zone 4 times. This game could have been 30, 36. 37, 36. To 20. But because of the fumble, but. So we're moving the ball. We see that happening against a team that we know plays hard, that's been winning. They're getting the ball down the field, but we're stopping them. Dexter Lawrence with 3 sacks.
Yes.
We had a total of, I think, 5 to 6 sacks that game? 7 sacks? 7 sacks. Yeah. We had 7 sacks. The Giants right now.
Shit off finally. Kevin.
Word up. Brian Burns. Brian Burns finally got it off.
I was hype. I'm like,
you want to hear something crazy?
Y'all got Walker and what do you call it? And Charbonnet under control. Like y'all had
Walker was balling the week before.
Walker was under control. Y'all had him under control. Him and Charbonnet too. Charbonnet
been scoring touchdowns.
Charbonnet been scoring touchdowns. Like he's been special. Y'all had him under control.
Deonte Banks showed the fuck up this week, right? Deonte Banks was getting cooked this whole season, and shout out to him, man. He did his motherfucking thing, man. You know what I'm saying? He held Metcalf, but yeah, Q, I don't mean to cut you off. Go.
No, it's all good, cause and you could go into the I know you're gonna go into the Pro Focus, but Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, those are hard people just to play against.
Absolutely.
Let's keep it above. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is our defenses. It's working right now. We have 22 sacks. You know how many we had last season after 17 games? We got 22 and 5. Yeah. We had 32 and 17 last year.
Yeah.
We're putting pressure on the other team. We're playing like how every other team used to play against us and every year in the past 3, 4 years, 5 years, putting pressure on our quarterback, not getting it nowhere, not having, now we actually see a spark in a young running back that we know we're not going to have to waste no money. I'm pretty sure Joe Shane must have went right back into Mara's office and be like, we lost Saquon, but we got Tyrone. Don't fire me yet. You know what I mean? Don't wood it me yet. Don't come in with the black mask and you know what I mean?
I agree.
But they played a really good game. This was a game of a definition of Giant football.
Yeah.
Establishing the run, getting down the field, time of possession. We had the ball 13 more minutes than them. Like that's insane. You know how tired these guys are. You know, like
you got the defense on the field. You got the defense on the field for so long.
Yeah,
for so long. You got defense on the field for so long. And that's what happened to my team in reverse.
And before the Detroit game, right? Seattle looked like juggernauts. They allowed 43 points in 12 quarters entering the game. You know what I'm saying? The Lions bust their ass a little bit. But their defense is, you know what? I don't want to throw cold water in the shit, but their defense is a little bit banged up. The week before, they blew a career performance by Geno Smith. I think he had like 395 yards, 400 yards, whatever. One of his best fucking outings. He had big throws. Jay, you mentioned Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker been absolutely balling. We neutralized him. So everyone thought we wasn't gonna, we had no chance against Seattle. So give them the credit. They came in there, they did their thing. Daniel Jones, a lot of underneath shit. Only really 2 big plays downfield. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to pull up Pro Football Focus because I'm pretty sure the 2 big plays to Slayton were the only 2 plays downfield. Even though Dable called an aggressive game, I still want him to be more aggressive. I want more shots down the field. Too much underneath shit to Wandell. Malik's going to come back. I want to see that accuracy next week and every week from here on out from Daniel Jones that we saw to Slayton. He was hitting him in stride. He was hitting him. That was Danny Dimes out there. You feel what I'm saying? We haven't seen Danny Dimes this season. I don't know if he's – and give credit to the offensive line, man. Other than Van Rotten gave up like a couple of pressures and a couple of sacks. Other than that, Andrew Thomas, Runyon, all these guys been playing really, really good offensive line. Even in the run game – shout out to the offensive line. Daniel Jones has a lot of time in that pocket, and that's what we said, right? Give him some weapons, give him an offensive line, and let's see what he can do. Let Dable take over the play calling from the mundane Kafka, and let's see what he can do. And you're seeing he's not turning the ball over, right? But we haven't seen the accuracy downfield. And last week we saw it. Now I don't want to jump out the window. Y'all know I like jumping out.
I was just about to say, he just told us this the other day.
I'm like, this on the ledge.
I'm like, Q, grab Cash's fucking.
I already bought an inflatable joint that the cops use for the people who like to jump off roofs and shit.
But
progression.
Imagine we get more aggressive downfield. Imagine that O-line does what they do, right? Mm-hmm. We have a decent team. I still think we need a couple more things. The secondary, even though Deontay Banks played really well, Adoree Jackson was back. Alanubu and all these guys, they did a really good job. Deontay Banks was traveling, did a really good job on their receivers. I still think I'm nervous because I'm going. It's 2 sides to the story, and we'll end it off with this unless you guys want to build on that. Well, it's 2 sides. It's like, okay, let's say Daniel Jones goes out and balls out for the next 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, or just does enough for them to win enough games for them to be 500 or slightly over 500 or slightly under 500, right? Then we have a problem. Now, we're not high in the draft again, right? Same issue we had last year, you know what I'm saying? Even though we got Malik Neighbors, we really wanted like a Drake May or Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying? But that's an issue now. Are we going to have the same issue going into next offseason? Are we going to now have to pay this guy again? Like, so he has to either really ball or not. You know what I'm saying? You can't be in the middle anymore. Like, there can't be any middle ground. That's to stop. Like, we can't afford that anymore. You know what I mean? Because we need to know what the quarterback situation is here. But if he does play like that the rest of the year, and he was running too. Vanilla Vic was back. He was playing his shoulder down.
Vanilla Vic.
You know what I'm saying? He was good in the ground. He was good in the pass game. He was accurate. He had a great game, man. I don't know, man.
I've never heard that. I said, listen, you gave me one. I said,
you ever heard that one?
Yeah. I've never heard that.
Yeah,
Vanilla Vic. Vanilla Vic was back.
And he's been picking it up. So we've seen ever since week 2.
Yeah,
we saw him improve slightly. And he was like, he played better. Then he played better. Then he's playing better. Now he played great. All right. So now how continuously can he continue to play great? Because that's going to dictate, number one, his future. Mm-hmm. And it's going to dictate the Giants' future. It's going to be a lot of big decisions. Now, if we somehow can win, maybe 8 or 9 of these last 12 games that we have, that's that's crazy because you know what? At that point, it's gonna be wide open. You know, Washington is in lead, but like Eagles are struggling.
Yeah.
Cowboys in turmoil.
Yeah.
They won. They
But they're having problems. You can
they are.
see
They're internally fucked up.
You can see it, like, and that was a tough one. Like they won that by the skin of their teeth.
They can't run the ball, and they really have no. Cooks ain't a number 2 anymore to me. He's like a number 3. They really should open up the checkbook, go out and get Devontae, man, and let that get his shit off. But
man, chill out. Hold on. Now. Hold on.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
everybody, let's just calm the fuck down.
Yeah. Jerry not doing that. Now he's coming to the Jets. To me, it's the foregone conclusion. He wants to go there.
Yeah.
Jets are probably going to give up a number 2 for him. He cut all the leverage off from everyone else because they're not trading him to the Chiefs. That's in the division, right? So the most likely thing, it's either the Jets or the Saints, and I think that because Carr's his boy, like Jay, you said last week, Carr is his boy. But if you just look at the rosters and the potential, he's going to the Jets, bro.
It makes more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you look at it through that lens, it makes more sense. The only thing I can think of that where Devontae would look at it in terms of like, I don't know that Aaron's going to be here for more than this year. I think this might be, so Devontae may not want to put himself in a position where he's like, all right, it's a bust. It's a Super Bowl or bust type year. Now, granted, I don't think there's any guaranteed money after this year for Devontae Adams. They'd have to restructure him, which means he could, get traded again.
Yeah.
But is it really worth that type of move? Whereas he could go to the Saints and plant his roots and stay there with Derek Carr.
I think you gotta do it. If you're the Jet, you're Super. In my opinion, you're Super Bowl or bust. There are people who think you're not Super Bowl or bust. They're thinking, make the playoffs. No, you done put all the chips in the middle of the fucking table. And I think
firing shows you that, though.
Right?
The firing absolutely shows you that they mean this shit. Like
we don't have time to fuck around.
We don't have any time. They got rid of the guy in 5 fucking games. That's not a team that's prepared to spend. Another, what is it? Another 16 games? Not 16 games. Another 12 games waiting. Like we're prepared to finish this shit now. It has to be this year. That's what they're looking at it as. So why wait till it gets to a point where we're fucking, let's call it, roughly fucking 4-6, and then dump the guy, right? Right. For what? Like at that point, we're already dead meat. Dump the guy now and see what what we and I don't mean to monopolize the conversation with the Jets, but we're the ones that really are the poorer team of the two. And that's the truth of the matter. Like the Giants, I think, are really on a better trajectory. They're going up and to the right, and that's. I believe that. Like again, it's eye test, and I could be, a prisoner of the moment, and I'm fine with that. But the eye test tells me that team just looks better. There's a lot more to be excited about in that direction versus a team that fucking put all this fucking money and these moves and all this other shit into to make this work, and you
say prison in the moment, and I agree 100% because that's how I feel with the Jets. But it's kind of like the reverse because I'm like. The Jets look bad, but next week Aaron Rodgers goes out there and throws for 350, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and we're right back. Oh my God! You know what I mean? We're right back on that roller. We're back on a cyclone in Coney Island. You know what I'm saying? So
we'll blame it on what? What will we blame it on though? We'll say we needed to get rid of Saleh sooner, right? That's fucked up. We'll say, the coaching change made a difference. It didn't fucking make a difference. I think we
got A-Rob for one more year after this. I think, especially if we get Devontae. I mean, the Jets are so stacked on even special team, both sides of the ball. It's just they got a all pro like Mike Williams. If they get Devontae Adams, Mike Williams is going to be the number 3, right? It's going to loosen everything up for Garrett Wilson, right? You know what I mean? And Lazard will be like what the slot sometimes, and it'll be like we got to figure out a place to put him. But I think they're going to figure it out. Aaron is too good of a quarterback. You're only as good as your last game. So, he looked bad. He threw a bunch of picks. He got sacked a couple of times. The offensive line didn't look good. Garrett didn't look good. Lazard, the whole thing. But let him go out there and throw for 400 yards. He's going to have one of those games. He's going to figure it out. And don't forget, he's coming off an Achilles. This is game, 4? It was week 4, right? What did he get? Yeah, week 5. What are we in? What are we in?
Week 5.
That was week 5. So he's still getting his feet wet, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta. I'm telling you, you're gonna in a couple of weeks, you're gonna be like, we'll forget all about this.
It was wild. It was wild in the second half when he went down with that knee. I was like, he was heading to the blue tent, and then they blocked the punt. I was like, yo, this dude, like, what the hell? Like, yo, this is wild. Like, yo, I felt like he almost probably gave up right then and there, and then he was like, you know, but like you can't give up, man. Like, yo, he has to understand his defense can handle business. Just the offense needs to do what they need to do. The offense, you can't continue to play the first half of a game the way that they played the first half of that game. You need to try to put up some points in the board, especially some of the better teams. You know, you're gonna have crazier games in this. You know, like the Jets at this point, they're kind of lucky that Dolphins don't have Tua. Like
shit. And it's funny. You said you kind of gave up. Like that's how I kind of felt about him throughout the rest of the game. Even though he didn't go into like, I don't really feel like he gave. I don't want to say that. I don't want to call the guy like a quitter or nothing like that because I don't feel that. But I don't feel like I got the Aaron Rodgers that something about his energy just was off. But
I don't think you're ever gonna see that Aaron Rodgers again. This is what I always said. Like I don't think you're ever gonna see that 30-year-old Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay.
Oh no, you're not gonna see that.
Slinging, you know, you're not gonna see. You're gonna get the new and improved, coming back from an injury, with hints of like Brett Favre who wants to be better, you know, and he does, you know, like, but you can't just sow the hints, bro. You gotta like.
Know what I would like? I would like, yo, Q. You know what I would like? I would like a fucking Aaron Flacco. Because fucking Flacco.
Flacco won't die. Like,
bro. I was saying that in my man's crib, yo. Flacco is the only quarterback. Flacco's the only quarterback that's been retired for 4 years and's been on the job for 4 years.
Yo, you know that Eminem song, "Go to sleep, bitch, die, motherfucker, die." Wow, you still alive? That's Flacco right there.
He won't stop. That and you just saw it. Oh my gosh!
Should have never get. Oh, that's the whole nother story. They should have never gave homie the money like that. You know what I mean? But imagine the Jets had an OC right now. Like, listen, we got Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers running the offense. All respect to Aaron Rodgers, but he's not an OC. I know he's a really talented quarterback. Imagine we had somebody like Kellen Moore running up.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? Come on. It's a whole different team. I'm telling you, once we get the offensive right, you're gonna see a whole different Jets fucking team. Look how well-oiled, no Diddy, the fucking defenses, you know, no defenses, right? Imagine we. No diddler.
No, how much oil we talking about? Car oil? We talking
crazy. Pizza oil? Like what are we talking?
We talking car oil. I don't know if you into that freaky shit. You know, pouring 10W30 on bitches and shit like.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Let's get off football, man, and let's close out. Let's close out with the New York Knicks, man. Jay, I'm gonna go to you, man, because I went to Q for the last block first. We watched the preseason game the other day. Before I give my take, I want you to jump right in, man. What you know? We saw Cat's debut, and we saw Mikal Bridges' debut. Tyler Kolek, a lesser degree, you know, off the bench. Mikal Bridges was in there with the afro, the red man afro, fully in full effect. You know, preseason only tells you so much, but you know, Tibbs did have the starters in there for a little bit. He probably wants to get them a little bit on the same page, get the cohesiveness going. You know, what did you see when you watched the Knicks the other night?
I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna do the probably the smartest thing I can do here. Yeah. I'm gonna temper my expectations.
Okay.
We won by 2 points, right? It wasn't anything spectacular. I didn't see anything that led me to believe that this is something like amazing. There was nothing about what I saw. It was a preseason game. My starters got 14 minutes apiece. They all looked pretty sharp, pretty good. You know, I was to be honest, more impressed with the bench. I really liked Miles. You know, he really, and I've always liked him. I really have.
Yeah.
You know, I've always liked him. I think, you know, that he's absolutely our sixth man. I know that we're looking at possibly bringing in what the fuck is his name? The kid from I'm not calling him a kid. No. The kid, he was on Boston. Marcus Smart. I know that we're having some conversation, and that's a possibility. I'll be honest with you, I would like Marcus Smart in
defensively. He's our Drew Holiday.
Yeah, he become a little bit of a bruiser and a bully. The problem with that is, again, I don't want it to derail what we have with Miles, right? So I think that, you know, like everybody looked, you know, like they were supposed to look. I didn't see anything that really got me too excited. I didn't see anything that got me too hype. I didn't see anything that got me, you know, over optimistic. I think that the Knicks are going to be there. I think that there's a ways to go because, again, this is almost, even though it's not a new core, it's a new core.
Yeah. 100%.
It really is, right?
Yeah.
You know, like we have basically the same group of players minus two. I mean, let me not say that. That's not true because we got Cameron Payne, we got Shamit. We have a lot of new people, but like the core itself, you know, I think is the same, right? You know, like I don't see that really changing. I think the philosophies are going to be the same as far as what Tibbs is going to do. He's going to play who he wants to play. He's going to play them as long as he wants to play them in order to make us successful.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I'm going to temper my expectations. I'm going to calm the fuck down because if I do this every year. I watch the first preseason game.
Hey, you one of us. About that window, brother. Come on, let's go.
I watched the first preseason game, second preseason game, and then I'm cash, right? I got the window wide open. You know what I'm saying?
That's all right, y'all. I got my inflatable for you. Don't worry about it.
Let's go, right? You know, I gotta, you know, just temper my expectations, calm down, RELAX. You know what I'm saying, and relax. But in all reality, they did. They looked good. They looked clean. They didn't really, you know, look like there was too much ring rust as far as the starting five. Mikal Bridges, I didn't really see much from him. What do you have? 6 points, something like that. He didn't have much.
It was light work.
It was like 8.
Yeah, 8 points, something of that nature. You know, I didn't really see anything that led me to believe that he's, you know, like the end all be all. I know he's special. Let me not say that. You know, I want to be clear with what I'm saying. Yeah, 4, right? So yes, he didn't have much points. And what he played 12 minutes, 10 minutes. I think it was 12 minutes.
He played 13. 13
minutes. So you know, with that being said, I didn't see anything out of him. I do really. The more I looked at it, though, and I'll leave it at this. I did like seeing Cat, you know, like in a fucking Knicks uniform.
You saw that shit he hit like maybe 5 feet from behind the 3-point line.
Yo, bro, I like seeing Cat in a Knicks uniform.
You're gonna draw that fucking center out, and now all that space is big body Brunson Portis is gonna go.
Absolutely, you know, like I really like seeing Cat in a Knicks uniform, and I think he'll fit in perfectly. You know, the Dominicans in the Bronx and Manhattan and
Washington Heights
are fucking going crazy. They are going crazy right now. So this is going to be an extremely fun year. What is it? 22nd? I think it's October 22nd or 23rd is the start of the season. I don't know what the Knicks game. But I'm ready. You know, like I'm fucking ready.
I think we have to do a post game for that. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
Talk to me, my dude.
You know, you talked about Cat's range. I think one of the better things that's definitely going to help this Knicks team is when he was out behind the 3-point line and drove it to the hole. You know what I mean? Like, yo, he drove it to the hole, man, scored a quick layup. We haven't had that in God knows how many years, or maybe even ever. Like I don't even think Patrick Ewing didn't even really do that. Maybe like
different game. Yeah,
you know,
maybe best center since Patrick. You might be right, offensively at least. Yeah,
you know, and now we have that. So now we could kind of figure it out and even move him. Like if Mitchell Robinson somehow ends up staying here and they don't move him, and you know we have him to play the power forward and have maybe Mitchell Robinson play the center. Like that's that's a big fucking team, bro. That's a big team. But yeah, when they go big, like you don't have to do that all the time. You know, you can play. You know, we've seen what Josh Hart and Precious Achua could do. You know, you don't have.
You gotta get rid of Mitch. You gotta get rid of Mitch. We have to, Q.
Yeah. No, yeah. You know, look, I'm in agreement with you, but will they? I don't know. You know, like I don't know. Right. You know, if they keep him, we know how.
We gotta figure out what to do with the guy, right?
I think a healthy Mitch have some suitors, but it's the injury shit again. Put down the hamburgers and let the little boy go, Mitch.
But you know what? But on the flip side, like Cat hasn't really been that healthy neither in the past 4 years. Right. You know what I mean? He's been up and down as well. So
but he's a max player.
Exactly. No. So and he's somebody who could score. His offensive ability is the reason why he's there. You know, like and he can shoot, he can score, he can move off the dribble, he can pass like that. And if that's the type of game that the Knicks want to play, we got to keep up with these fast-paced young teams on the Eastern Conference now, like the Pacers and the Bucks and the Celtics. These guys are gonna just lunge it, and these guys are gonna just run all day. Like you know, even though I'm 36, man. I'm playing with these guys in their 20s, and I'm like, I ain't playing this game, man. After 3 or 4 of those times, I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking out of here.
We get downhill too, though. That's what I saw. We get downhill.
Yeah, and we could. And I think besides that, I think I was glad to see Jalen Brunson actually not affected by his hand. You know, he was dribbling the ball, good. Right? He was shooting the ball. I was like, all right, that's cool. Boom. That's one check mark off the box. The most important player on the team looks good at the surgery on his hand.
Josh Hart was very quiet. Like he had 0 points. Like you know, and again, he's not a scorer, but you know, but he can score. But he was. He just seemed very quiet that game. And, you know, and again, maybe it's just, you know, like he's not necessary. Like you say, he's Swiss Army knife. He just fit into whatever mold or whatever role it was necessary at that moment. But he did look quiet to me. And again, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Josh Hart is probably still tired from his fucking playoff performance
right now. He knows he's playing hella minutes, so he's
like, oh yeah, exactly. I'll get there when I get there.
He goes all the way up.
All right, yeah.
Yo, and then the other 2 players that really stand out. And before I get to the third of what I think he needs to end up becoming and doing better, if Miles McBride can't do that, because we need somebody to pick up for what Big Ragu was doing, you know. We got to pick up for 43%. You know, I think Miles McBride is floating a little bit before 40, under 40. Tyler Coley just got here, but he had 14 minutes, 11 points. Like that's pretty good as a rookie.
And it looked good.
His eye direction, the way he's passing the ball, and like his court vision.
It was
really nice to see.
Good, like. They have an IG like them balling like Brunson was balling with Kyrie and just in practice situations. Every time I see Tyler Kolek, he looks poised, man. It's just crazy. Go ahead, Q.
Relaxed.
Yeah.
Very relaxed.
He's looked like he's been prepared for this for a very long time.
And this is nothing new, but comes from. You know, he played 3 years of college ball, went to George Mason, and he transferred to Marquette. So he's not a one and done guy. He got to do the whole college experience, kind of like Brunson and them. You know what I'm saying? That says something. I know you got to go feed your family, you know what I'm saying? The one and done, but it's something to be said for when you play a couple of years in college, you mature as a person, you mature as a player, you know what I'm saying? So I think that has something to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If we were talking about NBA 2K, what he was doing was building up his attributes. Basically, that's what he was doing. Yo, he didn't come into the league at 65. He came in at like 72. You know, he came in at 72, 75. Let's see what he does. And you know, Miles McBride. I think Miles McBride definitely showed that. You know, McBride definitely showed that he could be that guy coming right behind. You know, like. You know, playing right after Brunson. You know, like, and he's picking up right where he left off. And in the playoffs, or even in the fourth quarter of the season, you know, like that last real quarter where we had to like really strive and all the injuries was killing us. You know, Miles McBride was one of those reasons we won a lot of those games.
He held on. He allowed us to hold on like in Vogue. Like he was the one.
And he's a Tibbs guy. I like that, and I like that metaphor. Hold on, like if always saw my always. And he's a Tibbs guy. You know what I'm saying? Tibbs liked him. His name popped up in a lot of potential trades. And Tibbs, Tibbs has guys, you know what I'm saying? And he's fucking one of them. You know what? What I took away from that game when I watched it, the first thing that popped into my head, is positionless basketball. One of the things I looked at, they had, in the beginning when they have the positions up and everything, and they showing you the starting lineups and everything, they had Josh Hart listed at the 4, and I'm like, wow. Realistically, and I'm like, yo, realistically, depending on like what personnel you have out there, you could have Josh Hart at the 4, the 2, the 3. You could have him even defend the 1 in certain spots defensively. You know what I'm saying? You could have Mikal Bridges at the 4 or the 2 or the 3 or even defending the 1 in some spots. You can have Karl Anthony Towns at the 4, possibly the 5. You know what I'm saying? OG at the 3 or the 4 or even
you can have him at the 5. You can have OG at the 5.
You can have OG at the 5. Great point.
You can have OG at the 5.
The 2 or the 1. I've seen OG defend the 2 or the 1. You know what I'm saying? So, like, their pieces are so interchangeable. And I grew up, and Jay, me and you the same age, and we grew up. It's a beautiful thing. We get to experience both worlds. You know what I'm saying? The point guard coming it down, dump it down to the center. He's in the post. He turns around and back to the basket. We had that type of basketball, and then we have this type of basketball where the big man saying, I ain't going down and posting up. I'm bringing the ball out on the fucking court. I got handles, you know what I'm saying? It's positionless basketball. This shit is crazy, and we got that, man. I'm curious to see what Tibbs does. I saw Jalen Brunson come down, like you said, Q. Hand wasn't bothering him. Kind of like flipped it back to Cat. Like I mentioned earlier, he takes that 3 from like 5-6 feet beyond the 3-point line. I'm like, yo, this shit different.
We never had this. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, it's right. It's right.
Before I jumped out the window, I'm saying, okay, like you said, let me temper my let me temper my expectations, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, I'm so excited as a Knicks fan because I want this so bad. I want it more than the Knicks. Like Ghostface said, we want it so bad we might cry. I temper my expectations, but what I did see too is, so I'm thinking, okay, Cat, is a liability on defense, but let's see how he does in that drop coverage. You know what I'm saying? Where you come around to pick a roll and a guy who's supposed to guard the screener drops back 6 or 7 feet from the basket. Let's see how that works. You know what I'm saying? And Tibbs is such a great defensive mind. And the great thing about Tibbs is not only have the Knicks evolved, like the players, Tibbs is evolving. Tibbs is going from a defensive guy. Because Tibbs, he likes the 2 big guys. He likes to get after a guy, the on-ball defender. He likes all the rugged guys. But now he's going to have to really kind of evolve. And I think he is. You saw it a little bit last year. And I think you're going to see it more this year. So I'm really excited, man, how he's going to use these guys defensively, how he's going to, it's going to be a different type of flow, but the spacing is so fucking exciting, man. It's just crazy.
I think what happens, and it's funny you bring it up, right? Like, I think, and this is kind of like what my mind is with this shit. Like, I'm vacillating between excitement and concern.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm excited because I know what we can be based on everything that you've expressed. Right.
Right.
I'm concerned because our intricate parts are so like our pivotal or intricate parts are so intricate and pivotal. God forbid one of them snap.
Yeah, like
it goes from positionless basketball to position basketball.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
Cookie cutter. Yeah,
like that. Mm-hmm. And that's my concern. That's why
yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I think that's why I think that's sorry to cut you off. But I think that's why they made Jalen Brunson the captain.
Yeah.
You have to shut that shit down quick. You know what I mean? Like you can't have 6 great workers all thinking they're gonna be the next supervisor. You gotta show the rest of those 6 people that
this is where I need you.
Yo, y'all 5 are really good.
Yo, I need you here.
But he's the one that's allowed to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
You know what I hate though, man? Like, when you get that guy, like back in the days, you had Detroit Pistons, you had like Vinny the Microwave and Dennis Rodman, those annoying Bill Embiid, those annoying fucking players, you know what I'm saying? And then a little bit of Lance Stevenson and those type of annoying players. We got one of those in Champagne Campaign. And when I seen Campaign come on the court the other day, I'm like, yo, this dude just annoys me. Like he'd annoyed me in Phoenix.
He's
annoyed me last year
annoying
in the
as
playoffs.
fuck.
And he's annoying. He's that little nigga that comes to the court and talks mad shit, but
Rat
really
face.
don't got no game.
Little rat face guy. Rat face.
He'll get his shit off, and the more he gets his shit off, the more shit he talks. And he's like, I'm gonna punch this nigga in the face because I know this nigga's trash. I know I can punch this nigga out. But yo, he's one of us now, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fuck with the nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you know what, Cash? It's the same thing like fucking Marcus Smart. I hated him in fucking Boston. He's a flopper to the death. He's always annoying. He's an agitator, right? Fucking instigating ass motherfucker. And then now, you know, he goes to Memphis. And now there's a possibility he may be one of us. But guess what? If he's one of us, right? We support the shit out of it.
He's a Tibbs guy. He's a Tibbs type of guy.
Absolutely. He's a Tibbs guy. Where's the shots at?
That's a fact. That's a fact. And let's take a shot for Tyler Kolek because I think we got Tyler Kolek on a rookie deal. He's going to be the best backup point guard. This jump out the window shit for the next 4 to 5 years. And then he's going to eventually leave us because he's going to want to get busy himself.
Geronimo! Here it goes.
I think
I'm with you. Let's go. Let's just jump out the fucking motherfucking window. I'm ready. Let's go.
He's Tyrone Tracy for the Knicks, bro. I'm telling you. I'm going to be evaluated. That's my gift.
I'll take it. Don't listen to me. Don't look to me to stop you, right? I'm not getting in your way. I want this to happen. I'm with it. I'm right next to you. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go. We'll jump the fuck out this goddamn window.
And I'm gonna tell you a story off air about Knicks Fan TV, but we'll talk about it.
Let's go. Listen, man. Peace to our Knicks, peace to our Jets, peace to our Giants. Let's keep this shit going. And the Mets. Fuck that. Let's show love to the Mets. What they did tonight. We absolutely disrespected them, and I apologize to our Flushing crew. What the fuck it is? Look at this. That is crazy, bro.
Shout out to Pete. Shout out to Iglesias. Shout out to Severino. Did his thing there.
Pete Alonso.
Shout out to all of them, man. Shout out to all of them, man.
Let's go. Let's go. NYC, man.
All day. We out here. Salute. See y'all next week.